Hello out there, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. My pleasure one more time to welcome you to Cross-Cultural Experiences, where we talk to people who have left their culture of origin, gone to another place, experienced something, and are willing to tell the story. Usually we have very exciting stories, but this time I will be the guest as well as the host. So it's a unique experience because I'll be talking about some of the experiences I've had so that you can also listen to me because I thought, I also have some experience. So it's not just the guests all the time, but this will not be, something I'll be doing all the time. The format is still to have my guests. All right. So what is unique about today? I'll talk about my experiences in two countries that are polar apart. One of them in the African continent, the other one in Asia. Let's start from Africa, and it's a place called Tanzania. I was in Arusha, Tanzania, some years ago, and I was in a public transportation, in Nigeria, they call them Danfo or Molue or Bolekaja, whatever. Trotro, they call it in Ghana, and they have all sorts of names, across the African continent. Matatu is what they call it in Kenya. And, the drivers as well as the bus conductors are not the best behaved people on this planet. So I was expecting the same thing in Arusha, Tanzania. And so when it came for us to pay, I was pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised, I want to repeat. Because the bus conductor said something to the effect in Kiswahili, tafadhali, meaning excuse me, I think excuse me or please. And he says, please, may I have your fare? I said, what? A bus conductor telling me to pay and saying, please, may you pay? I am waiting for your payment. Never had such a thing. Because as I said, all these bus conductors are not, examples of good behavior. No matter where they are in the African continent, and I guess elsewhere also. So I was surprised. I said, okay, Tanzania, something good for you. Let me take you to the other place, Singapore. As you know, Singapore is a city-state, small, tiny island. And I'll share some experiences in Singapore. Again, I was there some years ago. All right. First, we enter a taxi with my friend. We had come for a conference, and then the taxi drove around, dropped us off. We got out, said thank you. He was very polite. As we were leaving, walking down the street, we noticed that this same taxi driver had circled around and came back to us. And then we were wondering, did we forget something in the car or something? No, he stopped. Excuse me, please. Very polite. And we said, okay, what is it? And the taxi driver, gave us some money back. You overpaid me. That's what he said. And so that is the change. What? My colleague and I almost collapsed. A taxi driver returning the money after driving off. And we said, okay, you can have it since we have already paid. He said, no. You overpaid me. You need to have your change. We took the money and I looked at my colleague. He also looked at me and we said, this is wonderful. It's unheard of. In Singapore, there is another experience. We were wondering, why is Singapore so clean? If you have ever been to Singapore, you'll notice that the streets are exceptionally clean. And we were wondering until we got to know that it is not only the culture of the people, but it's against the law for you to litter the streets. If you drop something, you will be charged and I'm sure you'll be found guilty. And then you'll be told to sweep, go along maybe one of the streets and start picking up any garbage there. So Singaporeans don't litter the streets. Everywhere is clean. The city knows how to clean the roads. You can actually sit down anywhere on the streets and then eat. You won't be worried. So I said, okay. Now here's another one that actually blew my mind. We were staying at a hotel, but the conference venue was just like 5 minutes, 10 minutes walk, which was okay. But that morning, as I got ready for the conference, it started raining. If you're in Singapore, when it rains, it pours. So I went to the front desk and met one of the officials. I said, oh, please, I want to go to the conference venue, but as you can see, it's raining. So is there any place I can find an umbrella? I'll borrow an umbrella and I go to the conference and I'll return it. Oh, the guy, oh, just hold on a minute. Dashed off, brought the umbrella, and they gave it to me. I said, oh, thank you very much. So when will your duty, be over? Because when I return it, I don't know when the conference will end, but when I return it, will it still be around? Or if you're not around, is there another person I can hand over the umbrella to? He said, oh, you don't have to return it. I said, what? I don't have to return the umbrella I borrowed? He said, no, you don't have to return it. So what do I do with it? He said, just go to the conference. When you are finished with your conference, when you get to the conference venue, there is a place where you can find umbrellas. Just drop this one there because there might be another person who needs it. That person can take the umbrella and go and drop it somewhere else. Can you imagine that? Pick up an umbrella, drop it somewhere, another person picks it up, drops it again. I was blown away. I must confess. Now the question is, what did I learn? Because this program is about, not just crossing cultures, but what did you learn from that experience, new experience? I learned that, society can be well organized and that people can have values in society. At times I ask myself, the various societies I've been in, from Nigeria to Kenya and the United States, at times I find it very difficult to understand what values, we're keeping, whether we still have values that we're keeping. But that was a good learning experience, that there are still societies where people value politeness in language. Oh, please, may I do this? Please, may you do this? There are places where people value cleanliness. You don't drop something in the street. And where people, are so innocent-minded that if you forget something, they'll just politely return it to you and say, oh, and then you don't litter the streets. I also understand that the crime rate in Singapore is so low that you can take a walk at 3 a.m. So there is public safety. So there are all these values that societies that don't have them should strive at having them. That was my lesson from both countries. Remember, one is in Africa, one is in Asia, but they had values which the people cherished and continue to cherish. All right, that's my cross-cultural experience as the host, as well as the guest in this forum. If you want to be a part of this forum, all you need to do is to email me. The email contact is crossculturalexperiences. Remember to put the S, crossculturalexperiences@gmail.com. I'll get back to you, and then we can arrange a time. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter where I am. We can always find time to meet and share experiences, not just for ourselves, but for the benefit of anybody who is watching this. So I appreciate your time, and think about the values of your society and how you as a person can begin to uphold them. Thank you very much. Bye for now.